Hello, welcome back to the Bible channel. Today we have a book review video, but actually we're not reviewing a single book this review. We're reviewing 3 at a time. This is the first in the series. And also there's more in the series, but these are the 3 books written to young men who are not married. And I've read them all through. I just got done reading the 3rd one. But the first one in the unmarried, it's called Every Young Man's Battle, but it should really be called Every Unmarried Man's Battle. Because the original book was called Every Man's Battle, and it was written to married men. I did have that book, but I gave that copy to my dad so he could study it. But this one is written for unmarried men, Every Young Man's Battle. And just zooming in on this book in particular, it's written by Stephen Arter. It's actually written by Fred Stoker, and Stephen Arterburn helped him out with it. It's a really good book. It focuses on, this book in particular focuses on a young man. Like there's a strategy in there where a man should, if he sees something that would physically excite him, to bounce the eyes away. Because by not giving the eyes anything to look at, the mind doesn't have anything to play with. So that would cut down on the lust and all this. This book is very explicit in its language. It talks openly about pornography, masturbation, fornication, all that stuff. You know, most churches don't have the balls to talk about. And you know, someone might be listening and saying, well, do I really have to, bounce my eyes away? Well, the question is, do you want to live in victory or not? Because the scripture says, whatever overcomes a man, of that he's made a slave. So do you want to be a slave to Christ or a slave to lust? The choice is yours. And if you're tired of being a slave to lust, I'm telling you, this book, Every Young Man's Battle, will definitely help you. It's a great read. And also this book, I have uploaded it in audio format, the audiobook of it, to my SoundCloud channel. So I will leave the link in the description below where you can actually listen to this book, I should say. It's not a booklet, it's a book, before you actually buy it. And there'll be links too, if you'd like to pick it up. So this is the first book in the series toward young men, and it's a very excellent one. You might be asking, why do you review so many books? Because I read so many of them. So why not review them at the same time? So again, Every Young Man's Battle, really good, groundbreaking work. And those who talk smack about it, they work for probably the porn industry and all that. All right, so that's the first of the book, the series. The second one in the series, again written by the same man, Fred Stoker, with Mike Yorkie, and it's just called Tactics. And as you can see by the book, it actually gives you more tactics than this book did. Okay, this book also, like I said, it talked about masturbation, pornography, premarital sex, all that stuff. But this book brings out even more in that case. It says even if a man, roots out looking at pornography and unclean images, certain men still struggle with masturbation. And he brought out in the second series in the book Tactics that there's such a thing as emotional masturbation, such as, let's say, you go through a breakup and you're hurting. So everyone's heard of emotional eating, where you're not hungry, you just eat for comfort. Well, Tactics talks about masturbation can be the same to certain guys, where it's not a sexual thing, they're just emotionally masturbating for comfort or to soothe their pain or whatever it may be. And I've always said that whatever the addiction is, whether it's the masturbation, the porn, alcohol, whatever, that's not the issue. That's how they're trying to medicate the issue. The issue is pain, deep-rooted pain in the heart, and the addictions are just means of trying to cope with it. View it this way, is that whenever someone has a frustration in their life, like say, because these books are based in sex, so let's say a man's sexually frustrated, addiction will always, the trunk of the tree is frustration. So the branch would be addiction. But the point is, the addiction grows off of the frustration. So if they're sexually frustrated, they'll usually have sexually addicting things. So this second book, Tactics, really plays that through. And like I said, it covers a lot of things this one didn't. So if you read this one, then you must read this one too to complete your training to be a man of God and not to emotionally masturbate or to do any of that. You got to ask yourself, who do you love more, yourself or God? And if you're married, who do you love more, yourself or your wife? So Tactics, again, the second series in the book. Again, a great read. I highly recommend it. And then the third one in the series. And this is the one I just got done reading with. Got done reading the last chapter about probably 15 minutes ago. And I thought, hey, why not make a book review? But not on one book. Let's do the whole triple series toward men. So, single men. So this one, as you can see, is called Hero. Becoming the Man She Desires. And it's written by Fred Stoker. And this book, Fred co-wrote it with his son, Jason Stoker. Now, Jason Stoker, man, he really took what Fred said Fred, and ran with it. Because Jason, he didn't have sex until he was married. He never even kissed a woman until he kissed his wife when they were married. And I think that's awesome. And so and then even Jason's wife, Rose, co-authored actually wrote entire chapters in this book. So it's really good, and I just want to read the opening part of this because it summarizes up to 3 books really well. So let's see where it's at. Is it this one? I know it's in here because I just read it. And then if you autograph or order it from Fred Stoker's site, he actually will send you an autographed booklet or book. So that's pretty cool. And I know it's in this one because I just read it. I'm not big on circling and writing in books. Well, I mean, I am. But it summarized the 3 books. Here we go. It's right here. Finally found it. In the end, that's why I believe Hero is the ultimate book for single guys. Every Young Man's Battle was my first book written to single men confronting male sexuality within the context of you and your sexual vulnerabilities. It's centered on Ephesians 5:3. But among you there must not be even a hint of sexual immorality. God calls all of us to shut down the sexual gratification we draw through our eyes and minds by bouncing our eyes and taking every lustful thought captive. So again, that was the first series in the book, or book in the series he talked about, Every Young Man's Battle. Again, a very excellent book. And now, Tactics, let's get closer so you can see it. Tactics, the second book, confronted sexuality within the context of your relationship with God and with your Christian brothers. It challenged you to deepen your intimacy with God and carry your brother's moral burdens by heeding Jesus' indelible words from the book of Matthew. Teach, which is the great teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law. Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these 2 commandments. Finding intimacy with God and with your neighbor changes every man's battle forever, primarily by replacing your hunger for the false intimacy of porn and masturbation with the genuine intimacy of true relationship with God and genuine connection with the men around you. In Hero, and again this is the 3rd book in the series, where did we leave off? How could I just leave off? Here we go. In Hero, it's challenging at times reading a book through a camera lens. In Hero, the context is your relationship with women. So that's what this book focuses on. Our guiding verse this time is, treat younger women as sisters with absolute purity. 1 Timothy 5, 1-2. In this third book, the battle for purity comes full circle, expanding on the theme from the final chapters of every young man's battle. We focus on the central question. Are you leaving the women in your life better off for having known you? It's a vital question. That's precisely God's challenge to every man of any age. And it applies to all single men, whether you're 17 or 70. So again, the third book focuses on your relationship with women, how to win them over, how a woman wants to be, she wants to know she's lovely, she's worth pursuing, and by doing that, you win her heart. Whereas the second book in the series, Tactics, goes into more detail as a man about how you can defend yourself, not just on defense, but you need a good offense too. Because if you got a great defense but no offense, you're never going to score. You're never going to win a game if all you have is defense. So you need offensive tactics as well as defensive tactics. So the offensive tactics covered in this book is to invest into your relationships more. Spend more time with your friends, your parents, connect with people, and then there's not this need to isolate and masturbate to make up for it. Because masturbation's a thief. So you got to ask yourself, what is it stealing from my life? And most of the time it's stealing your time with God. And again, the first book of the series, Every Young Man's Battle. This one has the actual workbook included too. And like I say, I have this one uploaded on my SoundCloud channel, the audiobook of it. So again, I will send the link. I'll put the link in the description box below. And if you'd like to purchase any of these books for yourselves, you're doing it for you, not for me. I don't get any money out of this. And I buy these books with my own dollar. And I review them just because that's what I do. I read books. Bible-based books, other books, just because I can. So I hope you've enjoyed this video review of these 3 trifecta of books written toward young unmarried men. And hopefully you learned a lot, and hopefully this, if you were in an apathetic state, that this video has shook you up to the point where you're tired of living like the world. So take up your mantle, live for God, and be her hero. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, share, and be sure to check out that audio Bible, an audio book.